You're watching The Hard Facts, brought to you live from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studio. Madam Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, it is now futile to try and deny that your administration was not found wanting in investigating the brutal and depraved RG Kaur rape and murder case. Anyone with a conscience, with a modicum of morality, would submit to the mounting evidence. The proof is so apparent, so glaring. It has manifested itself in such a brazen manner that it has even caught the eye of the Chief Justice of India. Today, the Supreme Court bench seized of the lapses, led by the Chief Justice of India, rubber-stamped the painstaking hard facts presented on this very show night after night for the last 1 week. To indict Mamata Banerjee's administration and link it to a prima facie cover-up, viewers. The questions may have been the same as those raised by me in this show, but because they are posed by the ultimate arbiter of truth, the Supreme Court, they acquire a salience of their own. Viewers, in fact, by all accounts, the observations, the indictments of the Supreme Court, the mounting proof of cover-up has galvanized the protesters and have made them more determined to seek Mamata Banerjee's resignation. Viewers, friends, let me go through now the observation of the Supreme Court. Keep in mind what the hard facts has been telling you day after day, and see how the observations are derived from the hard facts, viewers. The Supreme Court said that the RG Kaur principal tried to pass off the death as a suicide. This show, viewers, has been telling you how that was done. The Supreme Court says, why was the FIR not registered till late night? The hard facts brought to you first, viewers. The fact that the FIR was filed almost a day after the crime, late into the night. The Supreme Court says undoubtedly there was a long delay in filing of FIR. We brought you proof. This team that produces the hard facts, viewers, brought you the evidence to show how this entire matter for 24 hours was being suppressed till the point that the father, viewers, took matters into his own hands and lodged the FIR. Viewers, the Supreme Court says, why didn't the hospital administration register an FIR? The crime happened in the hospital. It happened under the nose, the watchful, so-called watchful eye of the administrators. Yet, viewers, they were busy trying to suggest that this was a suicide. The Supreme Court has homed in on the hard facts and asked, why didn't the hospital administration register an FIR? It was bound by the law to do so. The Supreme Court goes on to ask, why were parents made to wait for 3 hours just to see the body? They were summoned through a telephone call. An extremely vague sounding person spoke to them, an administration official, to say, we don't know, something has happened. It appears that your daughter is under a lot of stress and that she's committed suicide. Would you like to come down to the hospital? And they came. But viewers, For 3 hours, as the hard facts team told you, they were made to wait. Today, the Supreme Court is asking, why were they not allowed to see the body for 3 hours? What was being done? Was the body of evidence being dressed up to hide the signs of the depraved brutality that the junior doctor was subjected to? These are piercing questions. And then, of course, beyond asking questions, the Supreme Court also rubber-stamped other findings that we put out here on the hard facts, that the Mamata Banerjee administration has resorted to, very simply, a crackdown with the aim of trying to, at some level or the other, quash the protesters and the uncomfortable questions they're asking. The Supreme Court said, and I quote it, "The power of the state can't be unleashed on peaceful protests. Can't comprehend how the state couldn't handle vandalism. Why no action against the ex-RG Corps principal Sandeep Ghosh?" A litany of questions. Sandeep Ghosh, of course, the principal, remember viewers, was famously, or rather infamously, let me put it that way, reinstated within 4 hours of after he quit his post as the principal of this particular college, RG Corps College, and then, viewers, within 4 hours was reappointed as the principal of another prestigious college in Kolkata, medical college. These, viewers, are the protesters. These are the people who today are the only ones qualified in flaunting a conscience. Why? Because they are unyielding in their demand, and today fired by the observations, the scathing observation of the Supreme Court, they have resolved to continue their fight. And I salute them, because they are made of sterner stuff. They are made of a backbone that even the state government of Bengal lacks. They are made of a moral fiber that the leaders of the TMC that were part of this cover-up, viewers, lack. These viewers are the heroes of our country. The scathing observations of the Supreme Court mean that the TMC government cannot any longer deny that there was something very malign about the reappointment of a principal who should in actuality have been booked for trying to scupper the truth and derail the probe into the RG Corps rape and horror. For 5 days, he is being questioned by the CBI. The withering words of the Supreme Court mean that the court has lost faith in the Mamata government's ability to secure the safety of women. That it has lost faith in her government's ability to abide by the constitutionalist view of the law. That it has lost faith in the Chief Minister's ability to uphold the law and not abuse the power at her disposal. But above all, the Supreme Court has indicated that the Mamata government cannot be trusted to deliver justice, which is the essence of good governance, and therefore, viewers, therefore, these protests that you're seeing on the streets of Kolkata, which have been going on for a week, viewers, are a testament to public power, and are a testament to the falling levels of belief that the people have in their administrators. Viewers, there are some takeaways from the Supreme Court order that we want to bring to you. The first, the task force for safety protocols to submit interim report in 3 weeks has been finalized. The final report is to be out in 2 months, and this, viewers, this task force has been put together to ensure that the demands of some of the doctors to ensure that they are safe in their work environment are actually drafted. There's another takeaway. The Center has been directed to deploy CISF personnel for security at RG Kaur Medical College and Hospital, which shows that the Supreme Court doesn't have faith any longer in the Kolkata police. Another takeaway: the CBI has ordered to file its status report on the progress of investigation by August 22 in 2 days, viewers, because the Supreme Court has made it clear it is not going to countenance a situation where these protesters have to keep waiting for the truth. The Bengal government has been ordered to file a status report on the mob attack investigation by August 22. It has to tell the Supreme Court now what it has done to bring all those people suspected to be deployed by the state administration to defuse the protesters, to break their morale. Viewers, there's another takeaway. The West Bengal government has been ordered not to use state power to target protesters, which means that the Supreme Court believes that today the administration has become the enemy of its own people and no longer a conduit for their aspirations. What a stinging indictment that is, viewers. Chief ministers, ministers, cabinets, etc. are there to serve the people, not serve themselves. The Supreme Court has requested the doctors to resume work, assured action on safety and security, which means that the Supreme Court has now taken it upon itself to secure them at their place of work. Taken together, the Supreme Court's observations are a profound moral indictment of Mamata Banerjee. The TMC has never fallen shy of reminding its opponents of their obligation to uphold Raj Dharma, viewers. The question now is, will the TMC Supremo walk the talk and quit gracefully as protesters are demanding? Fundamental question. Let's ask, viewers, some of our panelists today, and we have an erudite panel tonight. A panel that will speak its mind. And we hope to have constructive dialogue, not an acrimonious one. Tausif Khan, you're an advocate and a political analyst and sympathizer of the TMC government. I just want to ask you a basic question. Will you admit today that the supreme blow from the Supreme Court to the credibility of the Mamata government proves that she in office has betrayed the cause of women? Mr. Khan.
Rahul, BJP must be so disappointed today, and I welcome the order made by Supreme Court today. The Supreme Court had at the very outset clarified that the reason why they decided to take the suo moto matter is because this is not a matter related to a particular murder which took place in a hospital in Kolkata. It raises systemic issues related to the safety of doctors across India. That is what the concern of the Supreme Court was. And BJP must be so disappointed that Supreme Court neither ordered toppling of the Mamata Banerjee government in West Bengal, nor did the Supreme Court pass an order saying that there is a constitutional breakdown, that there's a breakdown of the constitutional machinery, suggesting that the president rule should be imposed, as the BJP in their wishful thinking wants. You see, this case is very clear that the people of India, and like me and like you and like everybody else on the country who rises above politics, wants to know the truth. And it is for this reason that both the state government has been asked by the Supreme Court to submit their report, as well as by the CBI, who is investigating this matter from last 6 days, to file their report on the progress of this case. There are very questions, so many questions that CBI have to answer. You know, the accused has been in custody from last 6 days. Why the narco test has not been conducted? Why nobody else? There are the Kolkata police officers are in suspicion. There are the senior management of the hospital, the doctors of the hospital under suspicion. Why none of them have been arrested by the CBI? If this is a case of gang rape, if this is a case of damaging the crime scene, if this is the case of damaging the materials and evidence, why the Supreme Court has not arrested anyone? Day-to-day update is not being given.
So you're suggesting, Mr. Khan, if I've read you right, that no one has questioned the Mamata administration. Now, selectively reading the order doesn't serve the interest of justice, viewers, and neither does it lend itself to a dignified assessment, an honest assessment of what really transpired in the Supreme Court. First, let me tell you, viewers, the Supreme Court cannot order the dismissal of any government. There is a laid down procedure that only happens after the President assesses reports sent in by governors, which are also perused by the Cabinet. Recommendation is made to the President. I think we don't quite know our civics, viewers. But that aside, Mr. Khan says, no. This was a general overview not related to this particular case. Now, viewers, once again, let me remind you that the Supreme Court asked the following questions, passed the following remarks, and it didn't do so in a vacuum. It did so in a very particular and extremely deliberated way with direct reference to this RG Kaur horror. It said, RG Kaur principal tried to pass off the death as a suicide. Who appointed this principal, viewers? It was the Mamata administration. Who reinstated this principal within 4 hours? A person who tried to pass off, not in my words, the Supreme Court words, death as suicide. Can you believe it, viewers? In 4 hours, this person who tried to pass off death as suicide was reinstated. And Mr. Khan tonight tells us that no, the Supreme Court is not talking about this matter at all. Then, viewers, the Supreme Court said, why was the FIR not registered till late night? Again, viewers, the buck stops at the principal's table. Why didn't the hospital administration register an FIR? And if it didn't, viewers, are we to infer it didn't because of a malign intent, which is to cover up? And if that is indeed the case, viewers, then what was the Mamata administration doing reinstating this principal who oversaw these massive breaches of the law? And are we now supposed to believe that this Supreme Court was not interested in looking at the RG Kaur issue?
Court has
Let me finish, sir. Let me finish. I never interrupted you. I never stopped you, sir. I never stopped you, sir. I beg you.
National Task Force.
I never interrupted you. I never interrupted you, sir. Let me just finish, please. I will come back to you. No problems. I'm not running away. Why were the parents made to wait for 3 hours to see the body? Then it goes on to indict in a very particular instance. The power of the state can't be unleashed on peaceful protest. Who has the power, viewers, in the state of Bengal? Law and order is state subject. Mamata Banerjee is not just the Chief Minister, the Home Minister. The police report to her. What was the police doing? Fundamental questions are being asked of the Mamata Banerjee government, and Mr. Khan is telling us that no, this was some general, amble through the larger issues that affect women's safety in this country. Can you believe it, viewers? Can't comprehend how the state, how more specific do you want? State couldn't handle vandalism. Why no action against ex-RG Kaur principal Sandeep Ghosh? Do you know, viewers, he's not still suspended? Who's going to take all this action? Modi. Is Modi going to do it? Viewers, I'm asking you tonight rhetorically, is Modi going to do it? How ridiculous can we get? What a mockery we are making today of what the Supreme Court has said by being so selective in our interpretation, because we are so politically minded, so politically compromised, that we can't bring ourselves to even stare the facts in the face anymore. Can you believe it? I want to bring in Ms. Halim, CPM leader, who's in the opposition, who also happens to be a woman and has been on my panels in the past, specifically with regards to cases like the Park rape case. We all remember those times when Mamata Banerjee once again shoveled that matter under the carpet. You will remember that, Saira Shah Halim. I want to ask you, was the Supreme Court talking in generalities today about some larger issues that afflict women's safety, or was it pretty precise?
Okay. So good evening. Firstly, the Supreme Court strictures are very relevant and I think they're very direct. Firstly, the Supreme Court orders the central forces to take charge of RG Car because we have seen how miscreants tried to vandalize RG Car when a very peaceful protest was going on. Perhaps they were trying to discredit the entire movement, or that they were trying to show that it's politically mobilized, or whatever the reason is. Miscreants in hundreds cannot just enter RG Car, especially when such a tragic
Yeah.
incident has taken place. Secondly, the CJI, the Chief Justice of India, has basically directed the CBI to file the report and the state to file the affidavit on the 22nd of August, which is very clear. Then thirdly, the Supreme Court has issued a strict stricture to the government of West Bengal in the RG Kar case and telling them that no forceful action should be done regarding the peaceful protesters. I think it is very clear now that this whole theatrics that's been taking place of sitting in dharna or protesting. I want to ask, protesting against who? The health ministry is in your control. The home ministry is in your control. You can't be protesting against your own government or your own people. So what are you trying to show to the public? All your MPs have been absconding. They've kept a very studied silence on the entire issue. Only when the rage was out on the streets, then we see these theatrics of the MPs who came out and tried to give a completely misleading statements that there's a political mobilization going on. A and B political parties are trying to jeopardize the moment. No, the protesting people are doctors. I'm iterating once again. They are doctors, they are nurses, they are students, they are women. There is no political mobilization here. Yes, political parties will mobilize. However, majority of the people who you're seeing on the street are simply saying enough is enough.
Give us justice.
We want justice to the young lady. We want justice delivered to her parents. We want justice to every girl and woman who's out.
Viewers,
who's
can you believe
tonight.
there is such a vacuum today that the Supreme Court had to take suo moto action? And we are being told that no, this is not even a reference to the manner in which the Kolkata government is behaved, the Bengal government is behaved. Let me just bring in Ishkaran Bhandari, as well as senior journalist Tushar Gupta. Yeah. Ishkaran Bhandari, let me bring you in first. Look, I have to ask you this question because it's fundamental to this investigation. Can we today absolve Mamata Banerjee of the larger charge, the larger questions that are being posed by the Supreme Court? Yes or no?
Rahul, there is no way that a chief minister of a state where the law and order is the central issue can be absolved of charges and the questions should not be asked to her. It's very simple. It's the duty of the chief minister to maintain law and order in a state. We are having a case. Forget the first incident. We're having a second incident where there is a mob which is able to attack a place where the crime occurred. How common is that? If it was a few people, was the police complicit? If it was not few people, if it was a large mob, then was there an intelligence failure? How does a mob assemble across the city, across the state and reach a place? So if you cannot protect the crime spot, and a crime spot which has become of national attention, then you will not ask the questions to the chief minister. Whom will you ask? United Nations or the president of US? Whom would you ask it? Whose subject is it? But firstly, there are 3-4 very important things which have come out in Supreme Court. We need to pay a little bit of attention there. A, what was not democratically possible, because Supreme Court has not done that, does not mean that Supreme Court has given a clean sheet. In a suo moto case, the Supreme Court cannot dismiss any state government. So I don't know how that comes. That's democracy 101. So let's not make impossible request and then say we have achieved a victory because the impossible did not happen. Second aspect, what's the title of the case? It is a specific case. It is not general treatment of doctors. I'm reading the title. In Re, alleged rape and murder of trainee doctor in RG Kar Medical College Hospital, Kolkata, and related issues. So it's a specific case, specific doctor, specific hospital. The third aspect, my naman to all the civil society members and the brave doctors protesting in front of very adverse circumstances. One becomes a doctor to protect patients. Here, they are asking protection for themselves, and the Supreme Court's observation of let the power of the state of West Bengal not be unleashed on peaceful protesters. shows how difficult it is to protest there, that Supreme Court has to make this observation. Quite apart from how legal notices are being sent to people on social media who are trying to raise voice, quite apart from the difficulties being created for the protesters on the ground. And finally, I was a person who went to court in Nirbhaya case. This is Nirbhaya 2. For the juvenile, I wanted him to have the maximum punishment. Later, the law changed between 16 to 18. Now, juvenile gets punished. The same ecosystem which was trying to protect that case is, unfortunately, suicide theory has come out in this case. How did suicide theory come? Doctors don't know whether a person who's found dead is prima facie dead because of murder or is suicide. It's a hospital. It's not layman there. How did the suicide theory come about? Were the injuries not seen? How was renovation allowed to go on there? How was mob allowed to assemble there? All these questions which have come up and you have been rightly raising them, and today the Supreme Court is raising it. Lastly, let's not see the Supreme Court order in disjunction of the Honorable High Court order. Both the orders have to be seen together. One order did certain things, the other order is doing certain things. In conjunction, it is a scathing indictment of the state of affairs.
Mr. Khan, a quick response. Are you today allowing your conscience to be overruled by your, I have to say this, compromised political morality? Simple question. Would you at least now reconsider, revise your stand?
See, the BJP supporters and the spokesperson, they're trying to impress as if the Supreme Court ruling today.
There are no spokespersons of the
indictment.
BJP here.
The BJP supporter, I'm saying.
There is no supporter of the BJP here. Miss Halim is not a BJP supporter, and Ishkaran Bhandari is not a supporter of the BJP.
Rahul, the other two panelists who spoke before me,
this
they're
is a
trying
Supreme
to
Court
impress
hearing. I read you the title. Rahul is the title of the case.
The Supreme Court has, please do not interrupt, as if the Supreme Court has indicted Mamata government on this issue, and the BJP
So you still have a doubt?
got some kind of material. No, let me quote Supreme Court, what the Chief Justice of India said in the very beginning. The Chief Justice said, "We are deeply concerned about the virtual absence of conditions of safety for young doctors in public hospital, especially women doctors who are more vulnerable because of the nature of work and gender. If women cannot go to a place of work and feel safe,
Sir,
we are denying them
are you
equal
only going to
opportunity."
selectively stick
Supreme
to three
Court
lines?
Is concerned about Supreme
No,
Court
are
is
you saying that
concerned
we are all
about giving
lying here?
equal
No, one
opportunity
second,
to
Mr.
women
Khan. Are we all
and
lying by putting out
safety of women, especially doctors?
Okay, one
Therefore,
second,
this is a pan-India problem.
one second.
Supreme
Do you
Court
know,
said it
one
is a
second,
pan-India
viewers,
problem.
just hold.
Supreme Court
Mr. Khan,
discussed
just
about
hold,
the
just
rape
hold.
in
There's no
Hyderabad,
point shouting over
rape
me.
in Bihar, and
Mr.
not
Khan,
only Bengal. So
Mr.
kindly
Khan,
do not
what does
politicize this.
what does the cause list say? Ishkan Bhandari, can you read it? I am liking the manner
I will read
in
you
which
the cause
Mr.
list.
Khan is selectively
Yes.
looking at the related issues and only playing up the related issues and completely, conveniently sidelining.
The task force,
Mr.
the
No,
task
hang on.
force Supreme Court
Mr.
created
Bhandari,
is that
let
only
Mr.
Rahul,
Bhandari
the
read
title,
out.
one second.
One answer.
No, one
Yes.
second.
No,
Let him
yes.
hold it up and read out.
Yes.
One
Let
second,
me-
one second. Mr. Khan, why are you shouting?
Yes.
No one is shouting and speaking over anybody.
Is the task force
One
only
second,
for
Mr.
Bengal?
Bhandari.
Rahul, you just
Yes.
need to be a concerned citizen. 1 second. Rahul, let's see the title which the Supreme Court, it's a suo moto case. So, of course, the title has come from there. Please, let's read it. In re, alleged rape and murder of a trainee doctor in RJ Carr Medical College Hospital, Kolkata, and related issues was registered on August 18th. The
It's very
title says
simple.
itself, they are dealing with a specific
task
case in a
force is
specific
only for
hospital in a specific
Kolkata.
city.
Mr. Gupta,
Where are they dealing with it? In Mars?
Is the
Mr. Gupta.
task
In Mars?
force only
Tushar
for
Gupta
Kolkata?
wants to come in.
Look, firstly, to answer Mr. Khan here, no one is a BJP spokesperson or a Congress spokesperson when it comes to the safety of women and doctors in India. Let's get this thing straight, please. You're confusing people who stand for women's safety with people who are BJP supporters or spokespersons. That's not how it goes. Number two, you tried to use the escape of generics when you started speaking on the issue of what Supreme Court said. Tell me one thing very honestly, Mr. Khan. The amount of notices sent by the Kolkata police to people who were speaking on this issue on Twitter, was it justified? The amount of hard work put in by the Kolkata police in sending those meaningless notices to the people, had the same hard work being done in ensuring that the crime scene is preserved, wouldn't we be better off today? Is it fair for the local police to send out notices to people across India and across the world telling them to delete their tweets on the issue because they're registering their protest against what has happened in Kolkata? Tell me. And then you say the state government is not responsible, that the BJP is feeling upset? You are telling me that
Absolutely
7,000
answerable.
people are. No. You are telling me thousands of people came in and vandalized the hospital. The Kolkata police later on tweets that the crime scene is intact. Nothing has happened to the crime scene. Then why were those people vandalizing the hospital for what joy? Can you answer that? The state
I want
police
to answer
responsible for the law and order. No, hold on. You're very happily questioning the CBI on the case. The responsibility of the law and order in the state is that of the police. The West Bengal police later put out another tweet saying one of their officers had been injured. One of the female officers had been hit by a stone and she was injured. Are you telling me that the local police under the Mamata Banerjee government does not even know that the vandals were carrying stones? They were looking to arson. They were looking to vandalize the place. They could have potentially destroyed the crime scene, which would have made things very, very difficult for the CBI and for justice at large. Are you saying Mamata Banerjee government is responsible for none of this?
Actually,
Tell me, Mr.
Tushar
Khan.
No,
Gupta.
Rahul, I would like to answer that.
No, 1 second. I think
I would
this has been answered by the Supreme Court. You may choose, Mr. Khan, not to look at the facts. I don't blame you. You're a lawyer. You're used to selectively looking at things to represent and build a case. Here, there is no lawyergiri going on. Let me be very honest. We are looking at the facts as they represent themselves, as they present themselves, as they presented themselves before the Chief Justice of India. And viewers, there's a very easy way of fact-checking, Mr. Khan. Just Google Supreme Court on RG car case. Simple. Google it. Article after article will come out and tell you what exactly the Supreme Court has said. No one is cooking up any lies here, viewers. Only those people who have an elevated sense of arrogance will accuse people today of reading the Supreme Court order and say that they are doing so at the behest of the BJP. Viewers, power corrupts absolutely. And absolute power corrupts absolutely, viewers. Think about that. Yes, Mamata Banerjee has somehow managed to escape time and again instances of massive lapses over the last 15 years. More, in fact, 2011. But viewers, precedent tells us that the lifeline that the public gives you, that the voter gives you, is not infinite. They also have the power to take it away from you. Is that moment, this moment, viewers? I can't say for now. I don't know. It could well be that Mamata Banerjee wins yet another election. But viewers, if she doesn't take onus, those victories will be meaningless. Those victories will embellish her ego, but not exalt her morality or her image. And viewers, legacies are important to politicians, at least that's what we're told. So think about that. And I would urge Mamata Banerjee to ask herself whether she has upheld Raj Dharma. It's no longer just about a high court that Mamata Banerjee has railed against and said is compromised. It is now about the Supreme Court Chief Justice, and she has 48 hours to convince the Chief Justice that her intent was not malign, that she is still an individual that can be counted upon to deliver justice. Viewers, this matter is not going away.